Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Guru Medeva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Padyantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badharayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishwaro Guru Ratmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Om Shri Medha Dakshinamurti Swamine Namaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahavidyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaita Dritavachinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatva Manusandhadami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutah Sunvanti divyaistavaihi vedais avadagramanishadaihi gayanti yam samagaha dhyanavasti tadatgatena manasam pashyanti yam yoginaha yasyantanna vidhusura suraganaha devaya tasmai namaha. Namaste everyone.
Namaskar.
Again.
Namaskar, Guruji.
Namaskaram, namaskaram. Please mark your attendance if you have not done. Already recording has started, so we can mark the attendance. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukham vashi navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvanna karayan. Before we start, I would like to correct one detail which I mentioned in the last class. Of course, it's not relevant for the class itself, I mean, for the subject that we are dealing with. But for the sake of correctness, when giving an example, I inadvertently said that Hiranyakashipu was cursed that he would live for 7 days and die by snake bite, etc. And that he went to Shuka Maharishi and asked for guidance how he should spend these 7 days in a manner that he gets moksha. Actually, it was not Hiranyakashipu, but it was King Parikshit of Kuru dynasty, one of the descendants of Pandavas, who had this curse. Actually, I realized my mistake after the class and was thinking that in the next class I will correct it. But thanks to Ramuji, alert Ramuji, he immediately sent me a message. And so thanks to him, that served as a good reminder for me that I should make a mention right at the beginning of today's class. So it was not Hiranyakashipu, it was Parikshit who was cursed. That he will actually die by snake bite. There's a big story in Mahabharata, it is there. So I didn't want to go into that. It's not relevant. This is an example I gave about death, how uncertain death is, like that. So now coming to the shloka under discussion, Bhagavan Krishna is highlighting how a jnani who has total control over his body, mind, sense complex, remaining comfortably in the city of 9 gates, renounces all actions through knowledge. He remains without doing any action and without instigating also anyone to do any action. Na eva kurvan na karayan. So through these words, Krishna is first giving a message that liberation or moksha can be got only through jnanam. And jnanam or knowledge can be got only through the study of scriptures. And when, as we saw, the fundamental questions that any thinking human being has, they relate to 5 topics: Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, Bandha, Mukti. And the scriptures which contain or which discuss these 5 topics, they are called Vedantic scriptures. So if you want to define or find out whether any particular grantha or a scripture is a Vedantic scripture, you have to look whether it deals with these 5 topics. If so, it is a Vedantic scripture. And consistent and systematic study of the Vedantic scriptures for a length of time under the guidance of a competent guru is called Jnana Yoga. And when a person goes through such a study comprising of Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, etc., assimilates that knowledge in the scriptures and abides in that knowledge, he becomes a jnani. And as a jnani, he understands that I am not the body, I am not the mind, but I am the consciousness who is functioning through the body. I am transacting through the body-mind complex, but I am not the body-mind complex. I am in the body-mind complex. And when the body-mind complex dies or dissolves, I do not die. Only my transactions stop. I continue to exist eternally. So unlike an ajnani who says, I am the body, mind, sense complex, a jnani says, he may not say it in so many words, but he understands within himself that I am Atma, I am of the nature of pure consciousness. I am not the body, but I am in the body. I am pervading the body. I am blessing this body. This body is able to do all the transactions only because of my blessing. And it is on the basis of this knowledge that he is able to renounce all actions. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasya. He does not physically renounce the action. All the actions of the body-mind complex will continue. That level will continue. But he does not claim the actions as his own actions because he is detached from the body-mind complex. Thus, a jnani sukham aste leads his life very comfortably, happily. And therefore, what is the difference between a jnani and ajnani? A jnani is one who claims Atma as himself. Ajnani is one who claims ahankara, means the body-mind complex as himself. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, all descriptions of the jnani, they are all descriptions of Atma. So a jnani is described in the form of Atma description. And all ajnani's description will be the description of ahankara. Because ajnani identifies with ahankara. And therefore, if you ask the question, who am I? The answer will be, what you are depends upon what you identify with. What you are depends upon what you identify with. If you identify with your lower self, you are a samsari. If you identify with your higher self, you are free here and now. You are a Jivan Mukta hai. That is what Krishna wants to convey through this sloka. Now we will go to the next sloka. Na kartritvam na karmani lokasya srijati prabhu na karma phala sanyogam swabhavastu pravartate. The Anvaya of the sloka is Prabhu srijati na kartritvam na karmani na karma phala sanyogam lokasya tu swabhavaha pravartate. Prabhu. Prabhu literally means the Lord. In this context, we have to take it as Atma. Because Atma is the Prabhu, is the Lord of our body-mind complex. Srijati creates. Na, neither. Kartritvam, agency or doership. Na, nor. Karmani, actions. Na, not. Karma phala sanyogam, association with the fruits of actions. Lokasya, for the world. Tu, but. Swabhavaha, nature. With what is the nature? Universal ignorance. Maya, pravartate, leads to action. So the Atma creates neither doership nor actions, nor association with the results of actions for the people. But Maya, which is of the nature of universal ignorance, leads to action. So Krishna says, Prabhu srijati na kartritvam na karmani na karma phala sanyogam. Atma does not produce anything at all. Atma, which is the master. Prabhu, another meaning, the Lord or even a master is called a Prabhu. Master of this body-mind complex. So Prabhu, the Atma, na srijati, does not create anything. Specifically, anything, of course, does not create anything because Atma is incapable of creating anything. Here he specifically refers to everything to do with action. It does not create kartritvam, doership. The body has got natural doership. Mind has got natural doership, or technically, ahankara has got natural doership. Atma is not responsible for this doership of the body or the mind. So, kartritvam na srijati. Doership is not created by Atma. Karmani na srijati. Even the objects of action, the karmani, the Atma does not produce. So Atma does not produce the karta, Atma does not produce the karma. And na karma phala sanyogam, Atma does not produce the interaction also between karta and karma phalam. So what? Atma does not produce karta, nor does it produce karma, nor it does it produce karma phalam. And it also does not produce interaction or association between the karta and the karma phalam. Simply said, Atma does not do anything. We have got a lot of Atmas in many houses, children. They won't do anything. In fact, I remember, when I was a child, right? All children go through the same stages. When I used to just sit and, do nothing, I would just sit, doing nothing. So my mother used to come and ask me, what is this? In Tamil, she used to say, Parabrahmam mari ukandirka. Why you are sitting like Parabrahmam? At that time, I didn't understand what is the meaning of Parabrahmam. Now I understand. Parabrahma means if you are doing nothing, you are Parabrahma. You are Atma. So, So many things that we use, we don't know the meaning, but it's got a very deep meaning. So therefore, if Atma does not do anything, how come all these things, all these actions are taking place? Who is responsible for this action? Krishna says, Swabhavastu pravartate. It is the innate nature of the body mind to be active. Atma does not do anything. It is just like electricity, Electricity blesses all the gadgets generally. Electricity powers the radio, which produces the sound. Innate nature of a radio is to produce sound in the sense that receive the signals and transmit it and loudly for us to hear. Similarly, the innate nature of the fan, you can say, is to rotate and give us air. But it will not do without electricity. So electricity powers the fan, but it does not ask the fan to rotate. Any example you can take. So similarly, electricity blesses all of them. So if the fan rotates, it is inbuilt nature of the fan. If a light bulb is glowing, it is innate nature of the light bulb. All these things have got the potentiality to do action. But these functions are not determined by electricity. Functions are the innate nature of the gadget. Electricity is just a blessing principle. Without electricity, nothing will work. They will work only with electricity. But electricity has no contribution in what way they work. Electricity cannot tell the fan, there is too dark here. So a fan, instead of now rotating, you give light. Fan, we cannot give that. Electricity also cannot dictate when. If you don't give light, I will stop blessing you. Electricity cannot say. So here also, the body does activities, mind does its activities, senses do their activities. Atma is only a witness. We should recall the example of light, which we discussed in the last class. Light remaining the same, a criminal does a criminal action, a saint does a saintly action. Light is not responsible for saintliness of the saint or criminality of the criminal. Therefore, do not blame the light. At the same time, do not say light is not required, because in the presence of light alone, they can do their respective actions. So he says, Swabhavastu pravartate. Innate nature, it can't be stopped. Atma, for that matter, cannot stop also. Forget, create, cannot stop also. That is the further light Krishna throws on the nature of the Atma for us to understand, keep on understanding better. Krishna does not want to leave anything to our imagination or any doubt in our mind. Because human mind is like that. Because somebody, suppose if he says, it is very dark outside, then somebody else will ask, is it night now? That fellow never said it is night. But the way we understand, we interpret something, associate something with something. He will say, I never said, I only said it is dark. It's because heavy clouds are there. Sun is totally covered, so it is dark. It is very much daytime. So that is why, many times these kind of misinterpretation, wrong understandings could happen. And when it comes to scriptures, a guru and acharya, at the cost of repetition, has to make everything very clear. So now next sloka. nadatte kasyachit papam nachaiva sukritam vibhuho ajnane navritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha. So the Anvaya is Vibhuhu adatte na papam na cha evam sukritam kasyachit. Jnanam avritam ajnanena tena jantavaha muhyanti. Again, Vibhuhu. Last sloka he said Prabhuhu. Here he says Vibhuhu. Again, referring to the Atma. That which shines, Vibhuhu. Adatte, takes. Na papam, neither papam. Nacha eva sukritam, nor the punyam. Kasyachit, of anyone. Jnanam, discrimination. Avritam is veiled. Ajnanena, by ignorance. Te, hence. Jantavaha, the beings. Muhyanti, are deluded. So the Atma takes neither papam nor punyam of anyone. Discrimination, the viveka of a person. What viveka? Atma, anatma viveka. Is veiled by ignorance. It is covered by ignorance. Hence, the beings are deluded. Jantavaha muhyanti. So in the previous verses, Krishna said Atma is akarta, akarayita. Atma is neither a doer nor Atma is an instigator. Now in this Krishna says because of that Atma is abhokta. Abhokta means it does not have any result. It does not, the results of the action does not, go to the Atma. It does not have any punyam or papam. There's a beautiful sloka in Nirvana Shatkam. Na punyam, na papam, na saukyam, na dukkham, na mantro, na tirtam, na veda, na yajna, aham bhojanam, naiva bhojyam, na bhokta, chidananda rupa shivoham, shivoham. They're all beautiful slokas for nididhyasana, meditation. First, sit in meditation, ask a question, who am I? And then that who am I answers will keep coming through all these slokas. I am not this, I am not that. Aham na bhojanam, na bhojyam, na bhokta. I am Chidananda Rupam Shivoham Shivo. So I am none of them. Therefore, Krishna says, Kasyachit papam nadatte. Atma does not take any punyam done by anyone. Then what about papam? Yeah, our nature is what? Our nature is, I don't want any papam. All punyam somebody has done is okay for me. Isn't it? That's fine at the body complex level. But Atma has got nothing to do. Your real nature has got nothing to do. Nachayeva. Na bhojyam, na bhokta. So neither you are a karta nor you are any of the result of the action attached to the Atma. So it does not incur or acquire any punyam or papam. Vibhuhu, as I said, the one which is shining here, you can also take the meaning the all-pervading one. Atma asanga swarupa akashavat. Just as the space remains detached, when it rains, the space does not get wet. When the forest is burning, the space does not get burned down. In the same way, the consciousness is not tainted by papam, and it does not gain anything by punyam also. Therefore, all the laws, rules, the whole of Veda Purva Bhaga, the entire law of karma does not apply to Atma, the higher I. They all applied only to the body mind complex, the lower I. Otherwise, as we discussed in the last class, criminals will get away saying that I am akarta, I have not done anything, I am Atma, and all that they will say. We saw that story also of a judge. Therefore, at the body level, karma is there, karma phalam is there, law of karma will function. Therefore, at the body level, I have to be dharmic. I have to own up my punya papa atita swarupam at the level of Atma. Therefore, we should not mix up the higher self and the lower self. And that is why we have to understand that all our suffering in life is because of what? Deha abhimana, strong identification with the body, strong identification with ahankara. We take ourselves to be karta bhokta because of this deha abhimana. Remember in the third chapter, Krishna said, ahankara vimudhatma kartahamiti manyate. Aham karta iti manyate. It is this deha abhimana which is the cause for all problems. And here Krishna says, why is that deha abhimana is there? This body identification is so strong. He gives an answer to that question. He says it is so strong because of the ignorance of the higher nature. When I do not know my superior self, I identify with my inferior self. Therefore, Krishna says, Ajnanena avritam jnanam. Because of the ignorance of the higher nature, all jivas are suffering. So, what is the fundamental problem of all humans? Ajnanam, ignorance. If ignorance is the problem, what is the solution? There can be only one solution if ignorance is the problem. What is that? Knowledge, jnana. And whenever we talk about jnanam in the context of Gita, it is not any jnanam. It is only one particular knowledge, the knowledge of our higher nature, which is the Advaita jnanam. Jivatma Paramatma Aikya jnanam. That only is the liberating knowledge. And that's why he says, Tena, because of that self-ignorance, Jantavaha Mukhyanti. People are deluded. In fact, you must note, Krishna does not say Manavaha, he says Jantavaha. But it looks like he is criticizing the human beings who are Ajnanis, right? He does not even want to call us even a human being. Krishna says Jantavaha. Jantavaha Mukhyanti. Jantu means an animal. And Krishna calls us, all of us, as Jantu. Now, calling animal is not in a derogatory sense. The derivation of the word jantuhu is punaha punaha jayate iti jantuhu. The one which is subject to repeated janma is jantuhu. And when I identify myself with the body, I have got punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, and this cycle continues. And therefore, an ignorant human being is a jantuhu only, means he will have another birth. Whereas a jnani, a wise person, is no more a jantuhu, because a wise person does not say, I am subject to birth. Instead, what does he say? Rajayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyah ajo nitya shashvato yam purana na hanyate hanyamane sharire. When we saw this sloka in the second chapter, we understood that this applies to something called Atma. We never understood this sloka that this is, it is applying to me. I am that Atma. Now Krishna is establishing, you are that Atma, your higher self. If you identify yourself with the higher nature, this is what you are. Na jayate, na mriyate, va kadachit. You have no punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. It's not there. End of story. You don't need to be born again and suffer all the troubles and what all. I mean, fear. See, the way the world is going, many times when there is a lot of trouble at home, we hear people saying, I want to run away from this house. Isn't it? When you have got a life of suffering, you feel, I want to run away. But running away does not mean committing suicide. Running away is put an end to this repeated births by gaining knowledge, by becoming wise, removing your ignorance. So, what should be our understanding? I am not jantuhu, subject to birth and death. I am ajaha, janma rahitam brahma, I am, aham, I am. And therefore, we have to understand that all our problems are because of self-ignorance. And this is an important sloka because here Krishna gives the diagnosis of our samsara roga. So because of this ignorance, jantavaha mukhyanti, they are deluded. Because once I identify myself with the body, identification is one time, but the consequences are many. What are the consequences? A few of them we will see. First consequence is I become a finite entity, spatially finite. Therefore, what happens? I have got an eagerness to travel all over because finiteness, spatially being limited, is not my nature. I am spatially unlimited. I am all pervading. So that innate nature drives me to travel all over. I have to be here, I have to be there, I have to be there, I have to be there. Of course, not obviously at the same time. But at least I want to say, okay, if not at the same time, at least one after the other. I have to see this, I have to see that, I have to go on a world tour, I have to see Niagara Falls, I have to see Eiffel Tower, I want to see the Great Wall of China. There is this inordinate greed to travel because inordinate urge to travel, I should say, because I feel I am spatially finite and I want to break away from this finitude and deluded that I am. I feel that by traveling all over the place, I will become infinite. Then time-wise also I am finite. Another consequence. When I mistake myself as the body, I know that because of finitude of this body, someday I will die. But I do not want to die. I want to live forever. Why? That is my nature. I am eternal. Even people who say they will invite death with a smile, when actually the time comes, they will say, just one more day, let me live. But it's a very common thing when old people are there in the family. They will say, oh, before that person dies, let us have this ceremony, grandson's thread ceremony, let us celebrate. Even the old people will say, before I die, before my eyes close, I would like to see my granddaughter married. After that, I am ready to die. And once the granddaughter's marriage is over, oh, something else. I just want to see my great grandchild. After that, I am ready to die. I will not ask for more time. Nobody wants mortality because mortality is not the higher nature of the person. Unknowingly, we are trying to identify ourselves with the higher nature without realizing it, but going about it in a very wrong way. Therefore, identification with body leads to spatial limitation, temporal limitation, and then thereafter so many problems ensue. And Krishna calls all of them as moha, delusions galore. And therefore, jantavaha muhyanti samsaram anubhavanti. Now the question is, what is the solution? So diagnosis part is over. What is the course of treatment now? What kind of antibiotic should be taken? What surgery should be done? That is going to be given in the next verse, which is also a very important verse. In fact, this verse number 15, we just now saw, and the 16th verse are two very important verses. Later on, we will see why they are important. Okay. Now we'll go to the 16th verse. Jnanena tu tadajnanam yesham nashitam atmanah tesham adityavajnanam prakashayati tatparam. Anvaya is tu jnanam prakashayati tatparam adityavat tesham yesham tat ajnanam atmanah jnanena nashitam. Tu, however, jnanam prakashayati, knowledge illumines. Tatparam, that supreme Atma, adityavat, like the sun. Tesham, for those, esham, whose, tat ajnanam atmanaha, the ignorance of Atma, jnanena, by knowledge, nashitam, is destroyed. So that jantavaha mukhyanti, because of ajnanam, knowledge, ajnanam of what? Atma, knowledge illumines that supreme Atma like the sun for those whose ignorance of Atma is destroyed by knowledge. So now Krishna talks about the solution. He has already diagnosed that the root cause of all our problems of samsara is ignorance. Ajnanena tu avritam jnanam, he has said. Now, if ignorance is the cause of the problem, then obviously we have said that knowledge is the only solution to remove the ignorance. Jnanam is the only solution. In fact, in elsewhere, Shankaracharya gives an example. He says darkness can be removed only by light. There is only one method to remove darkness, isn't it? We can't take a broom and sweep away the darkness. Suppose I say I will go to a dark room and do yogasana and it will become bright. Will that remove yogasana, remove darkness? Or for that matter, you say I will go and do meditation in a dark room and remove the darkness. Will chanting of Vishnu Sahasranama in a dark room remove darkness? Of course, all these activities can be done in a dark room, but they will not remove darkness. Why? Because there is only, see, whenever you want to remove something, you have to use something opposite to that. Isn't it? That is the way nature works. And there is only one thing opposite to darkness, and that is light. In fact, in Atma Bodha, another beautiful text of Shankaracharya, he writes, Avirodhataya karma na vidyam vinivartayet vidya vidyam nihantyeva tejastimira sanghavate. Beautiful verse. He says, action is not opposed to ignorance. Therefore, any action cannot destroy ignorance. For any ignorance, suppose I have got physics ignorance. To remove physics ignorance, I say I will go on a daily 1 hour walk in the physics college. Then it will remove my physics ignorance. Another person will say, no, that is not no use. What you should do? You should do Ashtottara Archana to the physics professor. By doing all this, will your physics ignorance go? Of course, when you do the walking for 1 hour every day around the campus, it is going to give you some benefit, no doubt. If you do Archana to the professor who is a guru, that will give you a benefit. So we don't say they are all useless, but the result cannot be destruction of ignorance. If I want to destroy physical ignorance, what I should do? I have to study physics. I have to gain physics knowledge. There is no other means. Therefore, Shankaracharya says, karma avidyayam na nivartate. Therefore, you have to attain knowledge to remove ignorance. So now tell me, people talk about different paths to moksha without understanding what is the fundamental problem and what is the solution for that fundamental problem. Of course, the very definition of moksha also is under question. For them, moksha means dying and going to heaven or going to Shivaloka, Vishnuluka, etc. Our definition of moksha is totally different. Our definition of moksha is the pure form of derived from much dhatu in Sanskrit. So if ignorance is the samsara karanam, moksha can be only one path, jnana marga eva. Therefore, to say that karma yoga leads to liberation, bhakti yoga leads to liberation, raja yoga leads to liberation, all these things are not acceptable to Krishna, not acceptable to Veda also. This so many path, multi-path philosophy is not Vedic. No doubt, there are so many paths to purify the mind. Bhakti yoga can be used to purify the mind. Raja yoga can be used to purify the mind. Karma yoga can be used to purify the mind. But there is only one path to liberation. And we have quoted this earlier also, the Purusha Suktam mantra. Tamevam vidwan amrita iha bhavate nanyaf pantha vidyate yanaya. Na anyaf pantha vidyate ayanaya. For the goal, for the ultimate. There is only one path. So there are not so many margas for moksha. Tamevam vidwan. Vidwan here means a jnani. Jnanam alone liberates. Therefore, Krishna says, Jnanena tat ajnanam nashitam. Knowledge alone destroys that ignorance. We have already said that what kind of ignorance are we talking about? We said, is it physics ignorance or chemical? No, chemistry ignorance. Said no. So we have to understand the nature of the ignorance that is being talked about and what kind of knowledge will destroy that ignorance. Because both are important to know. Any knowledge will not destroy this ignorance. And I have already said a particular knowledge alone can destroy a particular ignorance. Physics ignorance can be destroyed by physics knowledge. Chemistry ignorance can be destroyed by chemistry knowledge. So here, the ignorance that is being talked about is the ignorance of the real nature of the self. Ignorance of who really am I. Any knowledge like physics knowledge, chemistry knowledge, history knowledge, etc. cannot destroy this self-ignorance. Self-ignorance can be destroyed only by the knowledge of the self, knowledge of the higher self. And therefore, Krishna very carefully uses the word Atmanah jnanena Atmanah ajnanam nashitam. Through self-knowledge only, Atmanah jnanena, by the knowledge of the self, Atmanah ajnanam, the ignorance of the self is destroyed. Very carefully he chooses the word so that we are very clear what is being talked about. Now, the next question is, okay, very good, I have understood all this. What is the cause of the problem? Why that problem is there? What is the solution and all? Well, how to get the treatment? How to get the self-knowledge? For that, Krishna does not give the answer here because he has already given the answer in the 4th chapter. I hope, and I also expect all of you to remember. I have repeated also in the last class. Anyhow, I will chant that shloka. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. How to get that self-knowledge? Krishna has already said in the 4th chapter. There is only one way: systematic, consistent study of Vedantic scriptures for a length of time under the guidance of a competent Acharya. Only one method. And this method of study is called Jnana Yoga. By that method, one should gain self-knowledge. Here Krishna does not say it, but then for completion's sake, mentioned it. So once all this happened, what will happen? What will that knowledge do? Krishna says, Tesham, for those wise people, Jnanam tat param prakashayati. That knowledge will reveal their own higher nature to them. So just as a torchlight will reveal an object, similarly, self-knowledge will reveal for me my own higher nature, the beautiful and wonderful higher nature. It is going to reveal my nature as Shuddha Swarupa. You are ever pure. That is a fact. You are ever secure, and that is also a fact. You are ever full and complete, that is also a fact. You need not depend upon any blessed one or thing to be comfortable. In fact, whatever wonderful things you seek in life, they are all within you. Do you seek love? You are the embodiment of love. In fact, you have got so much love within you that you can freely give love without worrying of exhausting it. Go on giving. And suppose the other person says, I do not love you. I can happily say, that is your problem. Still, I love you. And you can say this not to one person or two persons. You can say this to the whole world. That is a jnani. In fact, Krishna will say in the 12th chapter, Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitra karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankara samadukka sukakshami. So self-knowledge will reveal this higher self, this wonderful self you are. Like what? Krishna gives an example, Adityavat, like the sun. If you are walking on a dark road with no lights, on a rainy night, a road in India with a lot of potholes and whatnot, you will risk falling, getting hurt, and suffer because of no light. You are engulfed with darkness. All this darkness leads to all the problems. But when the sun rises, the whole place is so bright that everything is very clear. There is no risk of fall or getting injured. Similarly, because of inner darkness, I am falling everywhere during my life's journey. For a wise man, the whole road is lit up, Adityavat, like sunlight. And therefore, there is no question of falling down. It's a figurative falling down for the wise man. We are referring. What is falling down? The falling down means, anxiety, tension, worry, fear, all those things. They're all in the form of falling down. So for a wise man, there is no fall at all because the life is well lit up. Okay. We'll continue. Tadbuddhayastadaatmanastannishtastatparayanaha gacchantya punaravrittim jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha. Tadbuddhayah, tat atmanah, tat nishtah, tat parayanah jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha gachanti apunaravrittim. Avrittim. Tad buddhayah, those who have the knowledge of that Brahman. Tat atmanah, who know that Brahman as Atma, the self. Tan nishtah, who are established in that Brahman. Tat parayanah, who have that Brahman as that supreme goal. Jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha, and whose impurities are completely destroyed by knowledge. Gachanti, attain apunaravrittim, the goal of non-return. Apunaravrittim. Punaravrittim means coming again, being born again. Apunaravrittim means not being born again. So those who have the knowledge of that Brahman, who know that Brahman as the Atma, who are established in that Brahman, and who have that Brahman as the supreme goal, and whose impurities are completely destroyed by knowledge, attain the goal of non-return. Another profound verse. Of course, it does not mean that other verses are not profound. Every verse in Bhagavad Gita has a message. Of course, we have to understand the message in the proper context. We have to learn, we have to clear all our doubts about it. If we are serious about, moksha. All this apply only if you want moksha. If you say, get moksha and let me enjoy this life. Who has seen the next birth and all that? Forget it. Fine, excellent, no problem. That's why out of millions, only a few hundreds will come to this. But this 13 to 21, all are profound verses. So in this verse, Krishna talks about the various milestones that a person has to go through, right from, you can say, the LKG of spirituality. We will slightly rearrange the word. Swami Paramathananda does it for sake of convenience, so that we will get a chronological order of various stages. What is the first stage? He says, Tat Parayanaha. Tat Parayanaha. Tat means what? Tat means my own higher self. Independent self is the Parayanaha. Parayanaha means the ultimate goal of my life. Because you have to understand all these things to come to this. You must know that there is something worthwhile for me to pursue in my life. Something really worthwhile for me to fix as my ultimate goal in my life. Fully understanding that now I am the lower self-ego, the ahankara. This ahankara depends upon various external factors to be happy, to be secure. Anybody can upset me. Every relationship is subject to strain and problems and stress, etc. Because I cannot control the behavior of the other person. And many times, the other person's behavior upsets me. And that is the root cause of most of the domestic, conflicts. Even when people have lived together, before marriage, forget. People say marriage will bring problems. Even when you don't have marriage, you say you are in romantic relationship, you are meeting the other person every day, night, even sometimes living together and all. Can you guarantee that there won't be any domestic conflict? No. In fact, most of them rather, break down because of the conflict only. Because what happens is, when we are identifying ourselves with ahankara, we want to control the whole world. We want the world to function the way we want, according to our wishes. And when everybody does it, what will happen? Only chaos, conflicts. One person's behavior will upset the other person. I don't know why my husband is like that. Husband will say, I don't know, my wife is like that. They both of them will say, we don't know how and why our children are like that. So as the family expands, number of people that can disturb me goes on increasing. And that's why somebody nicely said, Sarvam Paravasham Dukkham, dependence on external factors is guaranteed to bring in happiness, because all the time I have to keep on adjusting to other people, changing other people. All that I have to be busy in all these things. So for that, first thing I have to do is I have to fix my goal in life. More we will see in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate.
Om Shanti Shanti
Shanti.
Shanti.
Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much. Dhanyavadaha.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari
Thank
Om.
you, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Hari Om.
Thank you, Guruji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you very much, Guruji. Namaskaram.
Guruji, thank
So,
you very much.
you are reached London?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Still in Bangalore.
Yeah, I thought you sent a message you are going to travel.
Yes, I'm planning. I'm just
Okay,
doing something. Thank
Okay.
you, Guruji. Namaskar.
Hari Om. Thank you. So, any questions? Any hands going up? I can't see any hands going up right now.
Guruji, I was just about to put the hands up.
Okay.
Can you hear me, Guruji?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you for the beautiful session, Guruji. I know any analogy cannot be a perfect for any situation, like the electricity and the various gadgets that the electricity facilitates. I think I have asked you this question once or twice before, and why my mind still keeps on coming up with the same question again and again. When it comes to the self, that is the consciousness, which only facilitates, which is ajanma, it is akarta, bhokta, but then it's just the body-mind complex is the one which does things, and that's the one which either does or the suffers or everything. But then the source or the origin of the body-mind complex is also, if Brahman is one and everything is from him and in him and gets absorbed in him, so the source of the body-mind complex is also Brahman only. The origin.
Not Brahman,
the origin,
Maya.
Maya. So, but Maya is also from Brahma only.
Maya is the power of Brahman, but it is not Brahman.
And in the sense, without Brahman, Maya cannot exist. Without Maya, this all the creation cannot exist.
Without Maya, we will not exist.
Yeah, nothing in the
Existence
creation
itself
exists.
is Maya.
Hmm.
Maya is not something different. Our existence is Maya. I am Maya. Body mind complex is Maya.
Yes, Guruji. Body-mind complex is Maya, and that's at the micro level, and the entire creation at the macro level is Maya.
And the entire doership is also part of the Maya.
Yeah, entire creation at the macro level is the Maya,
Also
and
Maya.
then our body-mind complex at the micro level is Maya. But isn't ultimately isn't everything a Brahman only?
Everything
The
is
source of
Brahman,
everything
yes.
is Brahman.
That is true. Everything is Brahman only. But
Yes,
you
good.
have to understand that there is a Brahman and there is an illusion of Brahman. The illusion is the Maya portion. Where everything is Brahman, Brahman cannot do anything, Brahman cannot create anything, there will be no creation. You and me will not be there existing. So there is a creation, which is what we experience. There is a creation. So if you say everything is Brahman, everything is pure consciousness, everything is pure existence, then there should be no creation. That's the existence is there. That's all. There won't be any Vedanta.
Yeah.
But there is existence. There are people. There is a world. There's a universe. There are planets. You have to explain that,
Yeah.
right? Because Veda cannot talk something which is not, which does not fall within our experience. Veda has to reconcile, when it is saying something, it has to reconcile the position of our experience. Why we are experiencing this world? Why we take ourselves to be a karta, bhokta, etc. On the one hand, you say, I am Brahman, I am akarta, bhokta, and all that. But why is it that you have a feeling? So that needs to be explained, isn't it? And that is why this is the way the whole construct is made. That Brahman is there, which is everything, because everything Brahman, see, it's like a Brahman is the creator. But Brahman cannot create anything without Maya. So if you say there is a Maya, there is a Brahman, it becomes what? Dual. So you have to understand Maya as something which ignorant people superimpose upon that Brahman. And when you rise above that Ahankara level and come to identify yourself with that Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, the whole world you will understand, even though I am experiencing it, it does not exist. And the best example that Upanishad gives is the dream example. Yesterday, you might have dreamt some dream at night. Was it true? What all happened in the dream? Was it true? Did it happen? You experienced it, right? You might have even cried or laughed in the dream, attended some party. So many things we do in dream, right?
Yes.
Some new places we see, which we have never even seen in our life. I've seen so many such dreams. A totally new house, different kind of house. Which house I have never come across in my 70 years of life. Such things we see. That time it all looks very real to me. I enter that house, I roam around and all that. There are many people. In fact, my mother, my father, everybody is there in that house. All looks absolutely real. Morning, I wake up, I realize that all these things was a dream. Only nothing was there. It all looked real. Now nothing is looking real. Who created that dream? From where did that dream come? You tell me.
My own mind.
Maya. It is my Maya, my dream, my power, the projecting power with me. My Maya that created the dream. So when in the dream, we will not realize that the dream is actually a projection or it is not true and all that, right? When we are in the part of the dream, we are dreaming, everything is real. Only when we wake up, we will understand that the dream is not real. It was just a dream.
So my Maya, which is not under my control also. Otherwise, we would be creating only beautiful dreams all the time.
That one part of the Maya is under control. You are creating the dream. When you are in dream, you have a power. What is that power? Nidra Shakti, right? We will call it, to understand it better. Nidra Shakti is creating the dream. Now Maya Shakti is creating the dream for you, for this dream of this world, this universe for you, and you take it as real. Only when you rise above all these Shaktis, go to the higher self, which is pure conscious Satchidananda Rupam, Swarupam, when you go to that, identify with that, then you will realize that this world also was like a dream, a projection only. It did not have, it is Maya. It did not have any reality. Even though it has everything, transactability is there, utility is there, experienceability is there, but they're all part and parcel of Maya, and I took them as real because of my ignorance. The only thing that is everywhere is Brahman only. There is nothing other than Brahman. That is the only reality. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, says Upanishads. Everything here is Brahman alone. You are Brahman, I am Brahman, laptop is Brahman, table is Brahman, mic is Brahman, this mouse is Brahman, everything is Brahman. So the knowledge is to rise above all this and then see everything, Brahman in everything. Go beyond the forms, names, functions. See Brahman in everything. Once you are able to do that, that is the Samatvam Bhava which Krishna keeps on talking about.
Okay.
So that is how it will build up. I mean, at this stage, you cannot say, no, I don't understand this. You won't. Not understanding is very natural because you have not reached that stage.
Yes.
That's a long way to go now for us to reach that stage.
Yes, Guruji. Yes, thank you for clearing that out.
Hari Om.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Hari Om.
Yes, Hariji.
Guruji, can we also say that Nirguna Brahma plus Maya is Saguna Brahma or Ishvara?
Maya is not Saguna Brahman. Maya with Brahman is Sagunam, which is
No,
Ishvara.
Nirguna Brahma plus Maya
Nirguna Brahma plus Maya is Saguna Brahma.
is Saguna Brahma.
Yes, which is equivalent to Ishvara.
To Ishvara. Okay.
Tomorrow's class, we will discuss about this Ishvara, Saguna Brahma. Viveka
Okay.
Chudamani, Shankaracharya is covering all this in the slokas that we are going to deal with tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else? So no more questions. So we'll close the class session. See you next week. Hari Om. Thank you all.
Hari Om, Guruji. Thank you.
Thank you,
Dhanyawad.
Guruji. Hari Om.
Thank you. Thank you.